Tuesday, July 7th, 2009.
It's Kevin.
Yep, and that is George.
Woo.
Sad, man. Michael Jackson funeral's going on right now.
Yeah, well, it seems like you pissed the Grim Reaper off because he went and got another. Sort of. I think he had some assistance.
I told you guys last week, y'all were laughing at me thinking I was trying to have jokes and shit, man. I told you the Grim Reaper is pissed off. I told you this girl left his ass. You know, and they say shit like that with celebrities and stars come in eights.
It's threes.
No, fuck that. It's eights with celebrities and shit like
well,
eights.
we're up to six.
We're up to six. Oh, no. Because, no, I think seven. Because what's the dude's name? Free Streets of San Francisco?
Anyway, what Kevin's trying to allude to is that Steve McNair...
It's always like...
Well, man, I don't know what you're talking about. We on a time limit. Steve McNair got killed. By who? I have my opinion. Kevin has his opinion. And the police have their opinion, but they're not telling us.
Okay, well, what's your opinion on it?
I'm going to tell you right now, Steve McNair's been dating this woman from the Middle East who came over here to escape religious persecution.
What's the Middle East got to do with it? Well, she was getting...
Thank you.
Okay.
This is my story and what I think happened. So Steve McNair's been dating her for 3 months while still being married. So in other words, he's been telling her, oh yeah, baby, you know, I'll get with you. We'll be there. I'm going to leave my wife. Shit. She found out that he wasn't doing it. She had a gun on Thursday. He came up in the house talking that shit on Saturday. Oh yeah, baby, I'll leave my wife. And I'm not, well, then he's like, baby, I'm not going to leave my wife. And she's like, die, mother of bitch! And shot him. Twice in the head.
Wow, that's politically
incorrect.
And then shot himself. Now,
that's what I think happened.
And more likely, I think that's what happened too. She got salty, got mad, fucking maybe was tore up and just fucking lost it. She obviously, it was somewhat premeditated because she got the gun on Thursday. She just went and purchased the gun. So this wasn't the first time he told her because he just agreed to sell his home with his wife and they were going to go buy a new home. Shit doesn't add up. Right. Yeah, so she just got salty and basically started blasting. This wasn't the first time. The one thing that doesn't make any sense, they say there is no motive. There's a motive. He wasn't slinging ding-a-ling no more and wasn't going to put a ring on her. No, he was slinging ding-a-ling. He's running up in her crib late. You know what I'm saying? He was slinging ding-a-ling. That's too much. But he says, you know, her cousin or her nephew or whatever has been talking to the media and basically said that, you know, the reason McNair really liked her was because he felt like with these other women, so obviously it was something that was going on in his life, he was, you know, being used. But, you know, when you go out and you creep and stuff, the bottom line is these girls know you're creeping. They know you got a wife at home. So they're going to say, hey, you know what? I'm trying to get some shit from this motherfucker. That's how it works, you know? And this one wasn't, but she popped him. Yeah, she popped him and stuff. Now, that's very unfortunate. And we're sad about his loss. Because he was a good man. He donated a lot of stuff. You know, sometimes you got to look outside of shit because everybody's imperfect. Because we know that you're pretty close to perfect. But when it comes to acquiring things, George is perfect. He's a loyal man, good and shit like this. But when it comes to acquiring shit, that's when that nigga gets imperfect, shorty. That's why the fuckers like, he's fill out the application for government jobs. He's like, oh, can't do that. Nope, can't do that. Can't do that. Anyway, moving on. What about... Thanks. God, I just put his shit on full blast. I don't give a fuck, son. Lance Armstrong, 1 second behind. He was balling this morning. I know it's strange. I was watching cycling because I don't have a job and I'm looking for one. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, his team made up 21 seconds and 9 kilometers. I don't know how many of y'all realize how fast that is as a group of 9 people pedaling on a bike, but... What cracks me up, man, is motherfuckers talk shit. Well, you know, Lance, you know, the first stage, you know, you're a little behind. Are you disappointed? What, man, the nigga has won 7 Tour de France. He knows what the fuck he's doing. Shut the fuck up. And for people who don't know, Lance wins in the mountains. Right. Lance is not a sprinter. Lance will not beat you in that, but he'll beat you in the mountains. And he has a nasty squad. He's got a great team this year. Motherfucker's on stage 4 and is 1 second behind already. He started the stage 40 seconds behind. Yeah. They made up 39 seconds. Wait till they get in the mountains. It's a wrap. The mountains start tomorrow. Blood, sweat, and gears, son. On to the NBA and more trades. Now, one trade we didn't touch on. Speaking of champions, real quick before we get on, I'm going to cut your ass off because I'm awesome at doing that shit. Tiger, champion again this weekend. Federer, champion again this weekend. And that looks like Armstrong. They real heroes are jumping out, son. Armstrong's got a way to go. It's, like you said, it's just the 4th stage. But now, on to something else that Kevin will be more than happy to tell you about is the acquisition of Ron Artest. Ron Artest, man, bam! You know what? I was worried because I was like, man, we got to get Odom. We got to sign Odom. We got to sign Trevor Ariza, you know? And I was thinking, you know, I don't want to see Ariza go because he really balled up and he manned up during the playoffs. But you know what? If he had to go, there was another man that could have came in and taken his place better than Ron Artest. Now we got a thug on the Lakers, man. That's good as shit. We ain't soft like Mr. Whipple no more. I don't think you're ever going to hear from Trevor Ariza again. He's signing with the Rockets because he had a great playoffs. No one knew who you were before the playoffs, much like he do Turkoglu.
Turkoglu had a couple good games in the playoff. He's going to go sign a fat contract, and you're never going to hear from him.
They both were balling because they knew they were up to get paid.
Now, what's with Trevor Ariza supposedly telling folks that LeBron James said, come play in the Cavs, and then Ariza asked him, are you going to be there next year? And LeBron goes, yeah, I'll be there next year.
Well, because Ariza obviously knew that he was going to be signing a multi-year deal wherever he went, and he'd be in a deal that was 3 or 4 years. He wanted to say, hey, I don't want to be stuck in Cleveland without LeBron, because that's no way we're going to be able to get to a championship, and I'm going to be stuck in a jacked-ass contract in a fucked-up city. And that's the bottom line.
And then you got another player changing his tune, Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
Just a couple months back, he was telling the fans of Miami, oh, I'm here to stay.
Yeah.
Well, now he's like, well, if the team doesn't do what it needs to do to try to win, then I'm gone.
Well, I'd be saying that too about Dwayne Wade, because everybody else in the East is going nuts. The Celtics are getting Wallace. And you saw what the Cavs did, Orlando did.
You know what I'm doing if I'm Dwayne Wade?
What?
I'm walking out, sitting in my lounge chair with my Corona in one hand and my championship ring on the other, not giving two shits and looking at that fat paycheck.
But that's a fucked up Bama ass. See, you're the fucked up kind of athlete that just wants to get paid. This guy's got heart. He wants to win. I'm getting my check. That's the difference.
He has heart. He has heart and wants to win.
Yes.
He's doing what every other athlete's doing right now and saying, well, if the team doesn't do this, then I'm leaving.
Because he knows he needs a team.
No,
he
that's
can't
a fucking cop-out. In other words, it's going to be like, oh, I'm going to go sign that big contract, or I'll sign that
But
big
he
contract.
signed, he could sit back and say, I'm just getting paid, like you're saying. Sit on my fucking lounge chair or whatever. He wants to win.
Well, we think he wants to win.
What do you mean think? He just told
You're
me.
always going to say the right thing in front of the camera. That's what athletes always do.
So
they pull that shit off on other people.
You think the motherfucker saying, hey, you know what, man? Y'all got to make, I want to fuck the team. And that's the right thing in the camera?
Yeah. Because he's obviously got people like you thinking he wants to win all the time.
I think he wants to win, man.
Maybe he does.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he gives a shit.
I think he wants to win.
I think it's about money. 99% of the time with all these money-hungry motherfuckers.
Why? Because he's getting ready to sign next year? You mean re-up next year?
He can opt out next year.
Yeah,
and he's smart. Same with, and the one person no one has brought up at all is Carmelo Anthony. No one's saying anything.
Is he up for next year too?
I think he's got 2 more years till he can, because he signed one extra year. Remember when LeBron and Dwayne signed those contracts so they could opt out after 2? He can opt out with 3 left. So these guys can opt out when 2.
But Dwayne Wade's going to get. I mean, Carmelo, they're going to get money.
Here's the idea: what if Dwayne Wade does what your boy who just signed with the Lakers does? Signs a mid-level exemption and goes and plays wherever LeBron does. Then we'll see if he's really about winning. That's what I'm saying. When it comes down to make the choice between winning and money, like Artest.
Well, I'm saying
he's saying
to stay. Okay, but he could. Okay, yeah. Well, that's a good point. But I mean, if I was with a city from the time I started, I would want to stay in that city and build stuff around me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Makes
I wouldn't
sense.
want to just go somewhere like Malone did and left Utah trying to get a ring.
Another one, Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed Wallace, like, I'm going to Celtics because it's his best opportunity to get a ring.
Right.
He's not going to get the most money.
Yeah.
When people do that, look at like when Malone and Peyton did it. They're
Artest doing it with the Lakers.
Artest.
Yeah.
So when it comes, I'm not saying Dwayne Wade doesn't want to win, but when it comes down between money and winning, let's see what happens.
Right, but you don't see franchise. He is the
Carl Malone was a franchise player.
Carl Malone was
right, but he was at the twilight of his career. But
that motherfucker was at the good night of his career. That's twilight my butthole, man. That motherfucker was like.
We're gonna be keeping an eye on the rest of the NBA moves and comings and goings.
Yeah,
but
real quick.
For all you folks out there in Vegas who are out there for UFC 100 and you need something to do on a Friday night, head over to the Orleans Hotel July 10th at 8 p.m.
Yes, because that's where we're going to have the tough girls.
The first ever all-female MMA card event, and you have women ranging from 135 up to 170.
Yeah, they got a whole card. I mean, this is really good. It's amateur, female MMA. It's Friday, July 10th at 8 p.m. at the Orleans
Hotel. And it's TUFF-UFF.
Check it out.
TV.
If you're there, you're watching UFC. It's a good thing to do on a Friday night.
$20 in advance and $25 at the door. So if you're a diehard MMA fan, you might be able to get to see the next John Fitch or Randy Couture, because you're going to have a lot of guys from the Extreme Couture camp that are going to be out there, or females who participate. And then y'all guys also have to remember, Vonderlei just opened a school. So this is a great place to send their up-and-coming fighters.
And there'll be a lot of people there watching this event on Friday night. So it'll be great. Yep. Well, that ought to wrap it up this week.
UFC 100 this Saturday. Tune in, watch, see
Check
what
us
you
out.
think.
Leave some comments who you think your winners are going to be. We're out.